Hello, everybody, once again. And Baruch Hashem, we are now back for shiur number 42 of the Hilchos Tefillah Awareness Shiur. For those who are brand new, my name is R Yehudah Schwartz, and the tafkid of the shiur is that people should be aware of the halachos of Tefillah, and people should also be aware that people should come to shul on time, stay to the end of the davening, and do not talk in shul. Those are the primary focus of this shiur. Baruch Hashem, we're back after a 3-week hiatus of the shiur. Baruch Hashem, it was an amazing summer. Hope everybody had a wonderful summer. This shiur is now being recorded as on the onset of the new school year. As I said, Baruch Hashem, I hope everybody had an amazing summer. And now we're ready to get back into the thick of things of Mim Kasha Shemayim and being able to understand the fundamentals of Tefillah and ensuring people come to shul on time. People follow the halachos of Tefillah, stay to the end of davening, and of course, not to talk in shul. So a lot of things happened between our last shiur and now. Last week, Tuesday, Rabbi Perlstein from the Do Not Talk and Shul movement and his team made a Yitzhak for the Tosfos Yom Tov. It was last week, Tuesday night, Wednesday. And it was, from what I heard, was a lot of people there. And I want to thank those who actually went. Definitely, it's like few of the people that are in this shiur actually went to this event and have told me great things about it. Baruch Hashem. Now, one of the things actually they gave out at the event was the Tefillah with Meaning Sefer by Moshe David Leibowitz, which we do uses Sefer in his shiur and in our shiur once a week. And hopefully, if you're listening to this for the first time, maybe you can follow along with us. Mr. Shem. We actually are in the middle of the Sefer already, which that's going to resume mentioned next week in shiur number 43. So for this week, as we're going back into the thick of things now, we are going to give just one shiur this week for both English and Yiddish. Yes, we give a Yiddish shiur as well. Please tell your friends, family, neighbors, those who are Hasidish, and those who speak Yiddish, to listen to that shiur in Yiddish. So, in our last shiur, actually 2 shiurim ago, and shiur number 40, we actually did the Sefer Tefillah Kilchosa. And back then, I actually spoke about maybe skipping chapters 1 and Perkim 1 and 2, and we'll just focus on the fundamentals of Tefillah. But then I realized, now over the last few days, during vacation, that maybe we should think about it, maybe stop on Perek Aleph after all. Because from that, we're actually going to learn the fundamentals and the chiyuvim of Tefillah. Well, don't worry, we will get back to Perek Gimel eventually down the road. But I think, and my feeling is, maybe we should really start from Tefillah Kilchosa from the beginning of the Sefer. So with that in mind, we're going to start tonight from beginning of the Sefer Perek Aleph, Mitzvahs HaTefillah V'Chiyuva, Mitzvahs HaTefillah and its chiyuv of davening. So, one of the big goals of this shiur, as I mentioned before, is making people aware of the halachos of Tefillah. Now, here in this sefer, it's going to discuss right now. There's machlokes where it says Mrs. Asay I said Dabanan when it comes to Tefillah. But no matter what, we can't treat davening lightly. You have to come to shul on time. And we have to follow all the dinim, what says in the shechach, that's also on the other side of the shiur, which we do in the beginning of the week, the first shiur, which is normally on the odds part of the shiur. That we should pick up next week as we resume in full strength 2 shiurim a week. Now, before I start, I do want to make one big announcement that we are working on getting onto 24/6. What's Hashem? It's being worked on currently, and hopefully we'll keep you updated on when that happens. And The other update, hopefully down the road, is going to be on all platforms pretty much very soon. That's Hashem. All right, Perek Aleph. Here we go. Mitzvahs Hatfilah v'chiyuva. Mitzvah Hatfilah and its chiyuv of davening. HaMitzvahs. So Aleph. Mitzvahs say l'spala b'chol yoyim. Mitzvahs say to daven every single day. Shinema, it says in the pasuk in Shmois. V'avartim as Hashem l'keichem. You should serve Hashem, your God. Then it says v'avodazu. What's the avodah here is he tefillah. That's tefillah. Shemam says it says in Dvoreb, in Vayim Shmaya, V'alta b'chol v'avachem. Amal Chachamim, the Chachamim say based on this, Ezi Avodah B'lev. So what is Avodah B'lev? Avodah of the heart. Zu tefillah. That means it is tefillah. So we had discussed this also very much in the tefillah meaning aspect of the shiur in previous shiurim. We did discuss this, and here we're coming out to see is Avodah B'lev means that is tefillah. Base. Some hold taka. Sheikah mitzvah tefillah min ha-Torah. Some said the ikah mitzvah of tefillah is min ha-Torah. But tefillah nischa zmania. But when it comes to nisach and the zmanim of tefillah midrabanan. That is according to the Rabbanan. This is according to the Rambam. Tefillah Aleph. So once again, so here we see is the Ikki mitzvah is definitely according to this shita is min ha-Torah, but nusach and zmanim is with the Rabbanan. Obviously, everyone nusachs that we're not going to change. Of course, that's not the goal of this year. Everyone should daven k'vi the nisach, whether it's nisach hari, nisach Adem Mizrach, nisach Sfard, Ashkenaz, whatever it is. Therefore, das Rabbim, das of the majority is Ikrim de B'Seifim. The Ansheiknes is a Gdoilo. So, the Ansheiknes is a Gdoilo. V'hem Tikne Gam as Cheshes is the Reo. So, Ansheiknes Gdoilo was the one that mismasada the davening. And they were the whole ones that organized what parts of davening is, what brachas is, and what's with the Baruch Shema or Hoidu, and also the Halukas, and so on and so forth. If we recall, in the earlier shiur we had from Chaim Kanievsky, in the Achas Yeshua shiur, we actually had that discussion as well, in which he discussed that, yes, Ashkenaz Gilada was actually the one who organized Tefillah. Now, what about the chiyuv of davening? What about the mitzvah chiyuv? It just says it's a deraisa. So what's the chiyuv here? Gimel. Chiyuv mitzvah zu. The chiyuv mitzvah is sheyei adam eschane mispar b'choyim. Person should capitulate and to daven every single day. And magad shavacha shakash b'chay, and to tell the praises of Hashem. And afterwards, shayel tzarachav, she asks for his needs. Shiur tzarach leheb kosher t'china. Share with kosher, with begging and t'chnina, and t'chnina means and supplication. Afterwards, afterwards he gives shvach to Hashem, al toven on goods shashpila the mishpil on him, ke'echad lefi kochah, everyone based on their koyach. Dalet. After the Yidden went to Golus, and they got spread all over the world, into across the entire world. Amder Ezra Sefer Bezdinite, and Ezra Sefer and his Bezdin rose up, and which was in the 120 Zekadim and the Nevi'im also as well. This one mentions V'tiknu, and they were Misaken. Eska brachas and tefillas, amasiduras b'fi kol Yisrael, and they were the ones in Misakim the brachas and tefillas, instead of b'fi kol Yisrael. Brachas shman eseh brachas and ekrois, and they're the ones that actually also organized shman eseh brachas that we say that the tefillah amida tefillah standing or in Sfard Adam Zochse Amidah. V'edina shon Gemil. But in Beis Gemil, he added in the the bracha val mashinim, val minim in the Mizrach. Now, so we're also mentioning in Shemar Esrei is that the first three brachas is shvach, and the last three is hadah, is to say that praise Hashem. And the middle is we ask for our things that we need to ask. Weiter. Now, someone doesn't know, only some of the brachas shemasa, even one bracha, even should say it. Ve'etzah b'kach de'cheves tefillah min Torah, and the cheves tefillah min Torah. V'yesh chalkem mitzamsei b'fis. V'nei Sfad lo yamriyo. V'nei Sfad doesn't say it. Now, ha'ara, and the ha'ara is here. Yitziv yidei chava b'shmiris chazal hashatz. A person also has to be chiv to be yotza the chiv of the zindi chazal hashatz, as we'll mention later on in Perek Gimel down the road. A little bit more, and then we'll stop for this week. And this is going to be something very important we're going to discuss right now. Ezra and Bezdin is that every minyan tefillas, kabolos, as we like count of kabolos, shtei tefillas b'chol yom, and 2 tefillas per day. Keneged tumah shel boker is keneged the tumah of the morning. Tefillas shachar, and tefillas shachar is keneged tumah shel balabayim. Tefillas mincha is tefillas mincha. B'chol yom, and every single day shesh b'kol musaf, and any days that's kol musaf. Taking tefillah in the sefes, we add tefillas musaf, and we add a musaf. Tiknu gam ken tefillas abes. Those of them are misaken the tefillas abes. Ava eno chaber k'shachas mincha. Was no chiv like shachas mincha. But if we can still kibli kol yisrael and tefillas chayva. It's was mekabel from clans kol yisrael as tefillas chayva. Because the saying once it's a minute, it comes a loch already, and therefore when mekabel ourselves in today says that tefillas maf is a chiv today. It's according to the Rambam. Tefillas elu, all these tefillas ain't poischem ein al masifah lei. You're not allowed to minimize it. Okay, you're not allowed to minimize. In other words, say less. But you could be masif if you want. Shem yotza odam mispar kol yom kuloi. Just b'yodai. If a person wants to daven a whole day, that's he's able to. V'hinikas tefillas the davar. That's called a davar, a Valentine, a Valentine tefillah. In any case, there's on tefillas dava when it comes to tefillas dava. That's why we don't see the erotzins, by the way, at all in a kind of sorry. That's why we don't see the erotzins in kabolos. But bottom line is, we now minimize. In other words, just come to shul and just say very little and run everyone out. And this also means it was referring to, as we spoke in the Shulchan also as well, about the importance of coming to shul on time and staying the whole time, davening, and not just running out and just saying minimally. But if a person is late once in a while, again, it happens. We're human. Therefore, a person should try their best to try to catch up to the Baal Tefillah, and then afterwards come back to davening afterwards. We'll continue this part next week. Well, now we are in El. Now, is this going to be done on Yudal El this year? So we all start saying Good Lo Hashem early, twice a day. Shachas Mincha in the Bnei Sfard, and the Bnei Ashkenaz is Shachas Marav. Now, I have a little story from Pesach Kron. We use this also share as well. The Maggid of Tefillah, getting his stores at artschool.com. The maximum from the minimum. So, as we have mentioned many times in this book, the words of Tefillah can have various meanings and interpretations. A pasuk in the Tefillah that we recite to Elul aptly describes the protection that Hashem granted the Jacobovitz family in the 1930s in Germany. There's much to learn from this story, including the role that parents play in the chinuch of their children by setting an example. The level of commitment and adherence that parents show in their performance of mitzvahs is an important influence on how their children will fulfill their mitzvahs, especially at times when it's hard to do so. The sacrifice parents make to perform a particular mitzvah can leave an indelible impression on their children. This story was told to Keren by Shalom Jacobowitz, who was the principal of the Eitz Chaim network in schools in Toronto. His brother was a late Rabbi Lord Emanuel Jacobowitz, chief rabbi of the British Commonwealth. In the 1930s, the Jacobowitz lived in the Nuclear section of Berlin. Their father, Rabbi Yoel, was a respected dayan, rabbinic judge. Whenever the family relocated to a new apartment, Rabbi Yoel made sure that a sukkah could be built on the balcony, without a structure or tree branches on top of it. Furthermore, Rabbi Jacobowitz always had a clause inserted in the lease specifying that he could build a sukkah on the balcony. Although he knew that the German landlords would not be keen on having a visible Jewish object just as a sukkah built on their property, he also knew the mentality. Germans would not renege on a signed document. A contract was a contract. In October 1938, anti-Semitism was rampant, unfortunately in today's times as well. Every day, Jews would hear about their brothers and sisters being carted off to the concentration camps in Dachau in Buchenwald. At that time, the consensus among Jews was that their brethren was merely being imprisoned for no reason other than their being Jewish. No one imagined the horrifying atrocities that were in store. Nazi stormtroopers roamed the streets of Berlin, and Jews could be dragged off at any time to be sent away. However, Sukkot was approaching, and it was unthinkable for Jacobowitz to eat his Yom Tov meals without a sukkah. However, his balcony on the third floor faced the street below and was clearly visible to all passerby. If, chas v'sholom, Nazi soldiers saw a sukkah, they would undoubtedly charge upstairs, ransack the premises, tear down the sukkah, and cart the family off to police headquarters or worse. Rabbi Yoel considered his options. He closed his eyes and thought, and then had an idea. He measured the height of the surrounding wall of the balcony. It was a little more than 44 inches, approximately 11 tefachim handbreadths. Since the minimum permissible height of a sukkah is 10 tefachim, approximately 40 inches, according to the R Chaim, Rabbi Yoel could build a sukkah 10 tefachim high and cover with a schach. It will be lower than the 44-inch height of the wall. No one will be able to see the sukkah from the street. The Jacobowitz were concerned that their neighbors on higher floors might inform the Nazi authorities about the sukkah, but Rabbi Yoel was willing to take the perilous chance. Aside from his determination to fulfill his mitzvah, he had always been on good terms with the upstairs neighbors. He davened that he would not betray them, that they would not betray him. His prayers were answered. Rabbi Yoel built a sukkah that was all of 10 tefachim high, 40 inches, and today, more than 60 years later, Rav Shlomo Jacobowitz recalls with pride how his family crawled into that tiny sukkah in a balcony on Elizabeth Ulfer Street and ate all their meals sitting on pillows, observing Hashem's commandment in an unforgettable manner. The very next month, in November 1938, the Nazi barbarians rampaged through Jewish communities on the infamous afternoon and evening forever known as Kristallnacht, throughout Germany and Austria. Hundreds of synagogues and Jewish homes and businesses were looted and burned. Afterwards, tens of thousands of Jews tried to escape the clutches of the savage Nazis. Most Jews could not leave, but the Jacobowitz family was granted Hashem's protection and were able to flee. Sukkot commemorates Hashem's sheltering of Eretz Yisrael during its travel of the wilderness for 40 years after the Yetzias Mitzrayim. Perhaps it was their courageous adherence to the mitzvah of Sukkah under such dangerous circumstances that merited their shelter and refuge. In the Nivim Shalom we say every single day now, until Shmini Atzeres. David Melech wrote, Ki yitzvineni b'sukkah miyom ro'o, yaseh b'sisa ahaloi. He will safeguard me in his sukkah on the day of distress. He will conceal me in the concealment of his tent. Pseudos David comments, on the day the enemy came, he protected me in his sukkah, so that they could not defeat me. a sukkah offers protection in more ways than we sometimes imagine. It seems to me, that the maximum protection that the Jacobowitz family merit resulted from the Riol's knowledge of the minimum height of a kosher sukkah. There's another story also on this, on the Shamari, that I'll say next week. Which is a helfin, the schos of Shemiras Tefillah, and upholding the mitzvahs and being able to come to shul on time and following the laws of Shecharach, which was Zochem, to all Ashpaz, Teves, Gesund, and else all the Eshnachas. Have a wonderful night.